Life offers enormous opportunities for us to learn. We learn continuously from our own experiences, our own mistakes, learn from our neighbors, learn from our juniors if we have juniors, learn from our seniors, learn from colleagues, learn from books, learn from newspapers, learn from movies, learn from television, learn from YouTube, learn from internet. So today, I think if we really look at, there are many sources of learning, and we are constantly learning and growing. When you talk to somebody, you learn about maybe a new information, maybe about a point of view, maybe about attitudes of that person, to maybe a political party, maybe to science, maybe to technology, maybe to life in general, maybe how to raise children, and so on. So in our life, if you really are sensitive to what is happening to us, every day is a learning opportunity. Every moment is a learning opportunity. When I, for example, make a small video like this and put it on YouTube, periodically I go back to check what people have commented on it. So I learn from those who watch this video. I'm sure those who watch this video are also learning from what I've got to say. I had a very interesting incident. Every day I take walks in the morning, except some days where I miss it. When I'm in Ahmedabad, I walk in the little space that is provided by Atira, Ahmedabad Textile Industry Research Association, or in IIM campus. When I am in Bangalore, normally I prefer to walk in Lal Bagh, take a morning walk in Lal Bagh. You know what I do when I walk? I prefer to walk alone, at least for some time. Even if my wife or daughter or son-in-law or anyone is accompanying me, they have their own pace, and I would prefer to walk at my own pace. And the most interesting thing I observe is that when I walk, I have a lot of thoughts flowing. I have new ideas how to, let us say, rejuvenate a dead professional body, or how to play a role uh, in a body that needs me, but at the same time I do not wish to be there, or in terms of a new video I am making, or improvements in a 360-degree feedback, and so on and so forth. I mean, a whole lot of things. So my thoughts go fast, and they get me to think of a new idea, maybe a new practice, to do something new and so on. I still remember when I was reading Robin Sharma's book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, and later the book Leadership Wisdom. He talks about the number of thoughts that pass through our mind when you walk. There are thousands of thoughts that are passing on through. You have to capture at least a few of them. In fact, he gives a number. I'm not very sure. You capture your mind next time when you walk. You see the number of thoughts that they are passing through, and some of the thoughts are recurring. And when you start finding that there are recurring thoughts, then you start looking at maybe doing something new, something different, something better, something innovative, and things like that. So many times, as soon as I come back from my walk, I sit in front of my uh, either laptop. Earlier, I used it to write a short article. Nowadays, I tweet or I put something in the Facebook and so on. For example, this morning, when I went for a walk, I met this gentleman called Mayur Bhai. He is the CEO of a company here, and he's an active participant in the CII HR forum. In fact, a few months ago, he invited me to address the CII HR forum. As in our morning walks, he heard me talk about my concept of HR, philosophy of HR, and so on. So I think I gave the talk, and since then, I think we keep, whenever we meet in Attira, we keep exchanging our views. Now, this morning, I have learned a very interesting thing from him. He said that he attended CII conference at Delhi, and he was very pleased to listen to uh, Mr. Roy, who is the director of HR of NTPC. He said that it was a pleasure listening to him. He talked very nicely about many things, including HR. And at the end of it, one Miss Boguna, who is in charge of the Bureau of Public Enterprises, talked about the contributions of public sector to corporate social responsibility, and how she is planning to organize a seminar. And she also talked about how PSUs, if they learn to collaborate with each other, they can change the nature of our country, and talked of a collaboration between Coal India and um, BEML. So he shared very interesting. So he attended the CII convention, spent a day, listened to all these people, but in a 10-minute period, he summarized. And at the end of it, he said, Professor Rao, what a marvelous work Indian public sector is doing. I never realized this. And they have some of the best HR practices because in the conference, NTPC was acclaimed as a benchmarkable company in terms of HR practices and things like that. So I have learned quite a bit from him. I felt very happy and excited that somebody who is from a private sector, CEO of a company, comes back and tells me that his own attitude to public sector started getting reformed and he learned a lot in a CII convention and what he learned. So I also learned from him. So this is a 10-minute conversation when you walk with another person gets you more educated, I would say even transformed. Because although I am an admirer of public sector, I have not been playing in the last 5 7 years a very significant role. But when I heard the gentleman, I got motivated. The least I could do is to write a small note in the Facebook and so on. So, friends, actually, the reason for my giving this short video is you have to be sensitive that you are learning. Most of us in our country do not acknowledge our own learning. You need to acknowledge that we are developing, we are growing, we are learning. You are not the same in the evening as you were in the morning. You are a different person. Something happened in the 10 hours or 12 hours of your life or 24 hours of your life. Do you recognize what are all some of those things that have happened to you and how different you are the next day? I think the moment you recognize and you start acknowledging all those who contributed to this difference in you, your respect for yourself and fellow human beings go up. And that is human resource development. And that is taking charge of your own HRD. Thank you for listening to me from TVRLS.